Have you ever looked into the eyes of a stranger and felt the entire world stop? It is not just attraction, it is a shock wave that travels through your nervous system, a sudden vertigo, as if the ground beneath you has dissolved and you are falling into a memory that does not belong to this lifetime. You feel an inexplicable magnetic pull, a terrifying familiarity that defies all logic. Your heart does not just beat faster, it beats to a rhythm you remember from centuries ago. If you have experienced this, you are not imagining it, and you're certainly not going crazy. You have just encountered a soulmate from a past life, and your physical body is reacting to the energetic imprint of a contract signed long before you were born. Dolores Cannon, the pioneer of quantum healing hypnosis technique, spent over 40 years communicating with what she called the subconscious, that vast, all-knowing part of our psyche that remembers every life we have ever lived. Through thousands of regression sessions, she discovered a profound truth. We do not meet anyone by accident. Every significant encounter in your life was scripted in the spirit side, in the space between lives. But there are certain meetings, certain reunions that carry a heavier weight. These are the encounters intended to wake you up. As we move closer to the great shift of consciousness, the splitting of the worlds that Dolores predicted, these reunions are happening with increasing frequency and intensity. You are being brought together with members of your soul family, not just for romance, but for evolution. And because we are dense physical beings living in a heavy dimension, the soul uses the body as an instrument of recognition. Your mind may forget, but your cells remember. The first and most undeniable physical sign is the phenomenon of the eyes. Dolores often spoke about the eyes being the only part of the body that does not change from lifetime to lifetime. They are truly the windows to the soul. When you meet a past life soulmate, you are not looking at the color of their irises. You are looking through the physical structure into the essence behind it. There is a click, a locking mechanism that engages. You might find yourself staring, unable to look away because you are scanning their energy field and downloading packets of information from the Akashic records. It is a moment of absolute terrifying clarity where you think, I know you. This recognition often manifests physically as a sudden flush of heat or a shiver that runs up the spine, which is your Kundalini energy responding to a matching frequency. This leads us to the second physical sign, the electromagnetic charge of the touch. In the new Earth frequencies, our bodies are becoming more crystalline and less carbon-based, making us more sensitive to energy. When you touch a past life soulmate, even if it is just a handshake or a brush of the arm, you may feel an actual static shock. This is not static electricity from the carpet. This is an energetic arc between two souls who have traveled together through time. Dolores described this as the merging of auric fields. When two auras that have been entangled for lifetimes come into contact again, there is a violent recalibration. Your vibration spikes. You might feel your hands trembling or a strange, buzzing sensation in your palms. This is your energetic body attempting to synchronize with theirs, remembering the frequency you once held together in Egypt, in Atlantis, or in lives much simpler than this one. However, we must understand that these signs are not always pleasant. This brings us to the third and perhaps most distressing physical sign, immediate, unexplainable anxiety or nausea in the solar plexus. We are conditioned to think that soulmates bring only peace, but Dolores taught that many of these connections are karmic. They are here to balance the scales. If you meet someone and your stomach drops, or you feel a sudden wave of illness or dizziness, your solar plexus chakra is reacting to the cord of attachment that still exists between you. You are feeling the weight of unfinished business. The body is an incredibly accurate radar system. It is screaming that a major lesson has just walked through the door. This physical unease is often the soul's way of preparing you for the intensity of the work that is about to begin. You are not sick. You are vibrating at a rate that your physical vessel is struggling to integrate. Why is this happening now? Why are you feeling these symptoms with such intensity? It is because the veil is thinning. As the resonance of the planet increases, the barriers of amnesia are breaking down. You are feeling the bleed-through of other timelines. When you are near this person, you might experience the fourth sign, time distortion. You sit down to talk for what feels like 10 minutes, and when you look at the clock, 4 hours have passed. Or conversely, time seems to freeze completely. This happens because when soulmates connect, they step out of linear time and back into the eternal now where the soul exists. You are creating a zero-point field together. In this space, the physical body often feels lighter, almost weightless, as if the gravity of the 3D world has loosened its grip on you. This disorientation is a hallmark of the shift. You are straddling two worlds, the old earth of linear time and karma, and the new earth of instant manifestation and unity. This person is your anchor to the other side, a living reminder of who you really are. But the physical symptoms can be overwhelming. You might find your sleep cycles disrupted, waking up at exactly 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. when the veil is thinnest, thinking of them. This is telepathic communication. Dolores found that soul groups are constantly communicating on the etheric plane. When you cannot sleep, it is often because your higher self is in a boardroom meeting with their higher self, negotiating the next phase of your contract. The exhaustion you feel during the day is a result of the massive amount of energy you are expending in the astral realms at night. We must also talk about the voice. The fifth sign is a visceral reaction to the sound of their voice. It acts as a tuning fork for your DNA. You might hear them speak and feel a vibration in your chest or throat. It is not just about the words they say, it is the frequency of the tone. Sound is one of the most ancient forms of healing and memory retrieval. A specific timbre in their voice can unlock dormant codes in your DNA, triggering memories that you cannot quite access with your conscious mind, but that your body reacts to emotionally. You might find yourself wanting to weep without knowing why or feeling a surge of inexplicable joy. This is cellular resonance. You are hearing a sound that guided you home in a previous existence. But what do you do when this intensity becomes too much? When the magnetic pull turns into obsession, or the physical symptoms disrupt your daily life? The confusion is part of the process. You're trying to fit a multidimensional connection into a three-dimensional box, and it simply will not fit. You are trying to label them as a boyfriend or girlfriend, when they are actually a mirror reflecting your own soul back to you. The pain you feel, the chest pressure, the heart palpitations, is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. This brings us to the sixth physical sign, which is arguably the most bizarre yet fascinating phenomenon: physical mirroring and synchronicity. You may notice that without trying, you begin to breathe in the same rhythm as this person. You might adopt their posture or discover that you have identical scars, birthmarks, or moles in corresponding places on your bodies. In my work with the subconscious, I was shown that before we incarnate, when we are designing the blueprint of our physical vessels, we often choose markers. These are physical clues left on the avatar, the body, to help us recognize our soul group members when the amnesia of birth takes over. A birthmark on the left shoulder of one partner might correspond perfectly to a birthmark on the right shoulder of the other. These are not coincidences. They are encoded signatures. The body is simply following the script written in the library of the Akashic Records. Furthermore, you might find that your physical health fluctuates in tandem. When they have a headache, you feel pressure in your temples, even if you are miles away. This is because the energetic cord connecting you is so robust that it acts as a conduit for sensory data. You are entangled at a quantum level. In the new Earth frequencies, we are moving toward a telepathic society, and these soulmate connections are the testing ground for this unity consciousness. You are learning that separation is an illusion. If they are hurting, you are hurting. Because in the higher dimensions, there is no you and them. There is only the unified field of the soul group. The seventh and final physical sign is a paradoxical sensation of home, coupled with an intense desire to flee. It sounds contradictory, but the body knows the truth. When you are in their presence, your nervous system may finally drop its defenses for the first time in years. You let out a breath you didn't know you were holding. This is the feeling of the soul recognizing its sanctuary. However, simultaneously, the ego, the part of you constructed to survive in this 3D matrix, starts to panic. The ego senses that this person represents the death of your old self. It knows that this connection is going to strip away your masks, your pretenses, and your comfort zones. So you feel a physical urge to run, a fight-or-flight response, battling against a magnetic pull to stay. This internal war manifests as physical exhaustion or restlessness. But we must ask the deeper question, why? Why would a loving source subject us to such physical and emotional turbulence? Why is the universe arranging these meetings now with such urgency? To understand this, we must look at the concept of the backdrop people and the real players. In my books, particularly The Convoluted Universe, I explored the idea that reality is very much like a movie set. Many of the people you pass on the street or interact with superficially are backdrop people. They are part of the scenery, energetic holograms placed there to make the simulation of Earth look populated and realistic. They do not have the same soul density or the same contractual obligations to you, but the person who triggers these physical symptoms in you, they are a real player. They are a co-star in your drama. You see, Earth is a school. It is known throughout the cosmos as one of the most difficult, dense, and challenging schools in the universe. Souls line up and wait for eons for the privilege to come here, to take on a physical body, because the lessons learned in the density of Earth are fast-tracked. On the spirit side, everything is instant. There is no time, no separation, no pain. It is beautiful, but growth is slow because there is no resistance. We come to Earth specifically for the friction. We come to feel the separation so that we can rediscover unity. Before you were born, you sat down with this soul on the spirit side. You were likely with your council of elders, the wise beings who oversee your soul's evolution. You looked at the karma you had accumulated in previous lives, perhaps a life in medieval France where you abandoned them, or a life in the Civil War where they lost you. You saw the imbalance, and out of profound love, not punishment, you wrote a contract. You said, in the life to come, around the year 2024 or 2025, we will meet again. We will trigger each other. We will rip open these old wounds so that we can finally heal them and close the book. This is the pivot we must make in our understanding. The pain you feel, the anxiety, the heart palpitations, they are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that the plan is working. You are fulfilling the agreement. The universe is not punishing you with a difficult relationship. It is honoring the request you made when you were in your highest state of consciousness. Many of you watching this are part of what I call the 3 waves of volunteers. You came to Earth at this specific time to help the planet ascend. You are the system busters. Because your vibration is naturally higher, you find it difficult to connect with many people on Earth. You feel lonely, isolated, like an alien waiting for the mothership to return. When you meet a soulmate from a past life who carries your same frequency, the physical shock is massive because you have been starved of this energy. You have been walking in a desert and suddenly you found water. But here is the hard truth that many do not want to hear, and it is crucial that you understand this. A soulmate contract does not always mean happily ever after in the traditional sense. In the 3D world, We have been programmed by Disney movies and romance novels to believe that a soulmate is a partner who will complete us and make everything easy. In the metaphysical reality, a soulmate is a mirror. If you have deep-seated unworthiness, they will treat you in a way that forces you to face that unworthiness. If you have a fear of abandonment, they will likely trigger that fear until you learn to find security within yourself. The relationship is the classroom, not the vacation. The custodians, the beings who watch over the Earth experiment, have told me time and again that the purpose of these intense reunions is to accelerate your vibration. As we approach the splitting of the worlds, you cannot take your baggage with you into the new Earth, 5D. You cannot take your fear, your jealousy, or your codependency. These soulmates are the catalyst to burn that karma away. The heat of the relationship is the alchemical fire. So when you feel that nausea, that electricity, that terror, do not suppress it. Do not medicate it away. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I remember, I agreed to this. You are in the middle of a divine appointment. But what happens if the pain becomes too much? What happens if the relationship is toxic? Does a spiritual contract mean you have to stay and suffer? The answer is a resounding no. In fact, the test is often knowing when to break the contract. We must understand that a soul contract is an agreement, not a prison sentence. In the spirit world, there is no time. So when you make these agreements, you do not always realize how difficult they will be to play out in the slow, heavy density of the third dimension. You are the author of your own life script. If a relationship has become abusive, draining, or purely toxic, you have the divine right to tear up the contract. In fact, often the lesson you agreed to learn was simply the courage to say, enough. The test was not to endure suffering, but to discover your own worthiness, to step away from it. As we move closer to 2026 and beyond, we are entering a critical phase of the planetary evolution that the subconscious has referred to as the splitting of the worlds. The Earth is currently vibrating at two distinct frequencies simultaneously. There is the old Earth, which is crumbling. This is the reality of fear, control, war, and heavy karmic debt. Then there is the new Earth, the 5D reality, which is based on love, compassion, and instant manifestation. You are currently standing on the bridge between these two worlds. The relationships you are experiencing now, with all their intense physical symptoms and magnetic pulls, are the final exams. They are the purging of your emotional baggage so that you can cross that bridge light as a feather. You cannot take heavy karma into the new Earth. It is physically impossible. The vibration there is too high. Dense energy simply cannot exist in that frequency. This is why your soul is rushing you through these lessons. This is why you meet someone, feel an intense connection, work through a lifetime of trauma in 6 months, and then perhaps separate. It feels brutal to the human heart, but to the eternal soul, it is a magnificent efficiency. You are clearing the slate. You are balancing the books. So, how do you transmute this energy? How do you stop the pain in your chest and the anxiety in your solar plexus? You must move from attachment to unconditional love. Attachment says, I need you to be with me physically for me to be okay. Unconditional love says, I honor the part you played in my awakening, whether you stay or go. To heal, you must go within. In your meditation, visualize this person. See them not as the human who hurt you or the lover you miss, but as the soul made of light who loved you enough to play the role of the villain or the catalyst in your movie. Thank them. Literally say to their spirit, thank you for waking me up. I release you from the contract. I release myself from the contract. We are free. When you do this with genuine intent, you will feel a physical snap or a release of pressure in the body. The cord does not need to be cut with anger. Anger only binds you tighter. It must be dissolved with gratitude. As you raise your vibration, one of two things will happen. Either this person will rise to meet you at your new frequency, and the relationship will transform into a harmonious, new Earth partnership, a union of two whole beings rather than two halves trying to complete each other. Or they will vibrate out of your reality completely to continue their lessons elsewhere, and you will be free to attract a member of your soul family who matches your new resonance. Do not fear this loss. In the new earth, we do not lose anyone. We realize we are all connected in the source. You are here for a reason. You are not a victim of these intense connections. You are a master who chose to experience them. You are one of the volunteers. You came here to hold the light during this transition. Every time you heal a relationship wound, every time you choose love over fear, and every time you forgive a past life soulmate, you are anchoring more light onto the planet. You are making it easier for the rest of humanity to wake up. Do not let the physical symptoms scare you. They are merely indicators that your body is upgrading from a carbon base to a crystalline base. You are becoming a being of light. The anxiety is just energy moving. The heart palpitations are just the heart chakra, expanding to hold more love than you ever thought possible. You are safe. You are protected. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Look at your life now with new eyes. That person who shook your world, they were a gift. They cracked you open so the light could get in. Now, it is your job to tend to that light. Do not look back at the burning bridge of the old earth. Look forward to the horizon of the new earth, where relationships are not based on karma and debt, but on joy, creation, and celebration. The hardest part is over. You have found each other, you have done the work, and now you are ready to graduate. Take a deep breath and feel the ground beneath you. You are anchoring this new frequency right now. You are the pioneers of the new consciousness. Trust the plan. Trust your soul. And remember, you are never ever alone in this universe. If this message resonated with your soul, and if you feel the call of the new earth, I invite you to join our growing family here. Subscribe to the channel, not just to watch a video, but to signal to the universe that you are ready for the next level of your evolution. We are all walking each other home. Until next time, keep your light bright.